The stenographer said, "The judge's mind is beginning to wander." And the clerk says, "Don't worry, it's too weak to go very far." Lot was warned to take his wife and flee out of the city. The little girl said, Lot was warned to take his wife and flee out of the city, and his wife, Lot's wife, was turned into a pillar of salt. And the little girl said, "What happened to the flea?" "What do you mean, what happened to the flea?" "Lot was warned to take his wife and flee out of the city." Is baseball in the Bible? Yes, in the big inning. The Chinese have an invariable custom that all of their debts will be settled and paid off on the last day of the old year before the new year begins. Now they can do that because they don't have Christmas a week before. Christmas Eve, folks. Peace, grace, harmony, love, truth, oneness, allness, goodness. Love is God, and God is love. Amen. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy anniversary, Franklin. Year number 66. It was the first day of classes, and the professor came swaggering into the classroom, and he said, "If there's any dumbbells in this class, I want you to stand up immediately." And a long time went by, of course. Finally, a lone freshman stood up in the back row, and the professor bellowed, "Are you a dumbbell?" And the little freshman said, "Well, no, sir, but I felt sorry for you standing up there all by yourself." Professor to student, "What do you know about the speed of light?" "Nothing, sir, except it gets here too early in the morning." A policeman stopped a motorist because he didn't have a taillight. And the motorist looked behind, and he began to shiver and shake and cry, and the policeman says, "It isn't that bad. You just don't have a taillight." And the motorist says, "But where is my wife and trailer?" Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Said the lawyer, "The bricks in the wall were loose. We've got a great case. We'll sue Mother Goose." Dad, I got 100 in school today." "Dad, well, it's about time." "In what?" 50 in spelling and 50 in arithmetic." Doctor to the patient, "You don't get enough exercise. You watch golf on TV. You need more activity." So the patient started watching tennis on TV. "Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply echo back their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. The story of Christ. The great, great story. The great, great story of Jesus the Christ. How about a word today? Do you like the word ambivalent? Having two meanings? Maybe even more than two meanings. Ambivalent, having more than one meaning. Did you do any telephone calls yesterday, Glendora? Yes, 30. Did Google behave? Most of the time. Hey Google! Hey Google! Hey Google! Call Durnford? Hey Google! Call Durnford, please. You don't feel like it, huh? Okay. Gregory Hearn did not call back about his third assignment, which is to take Hearn.
Calling Durnford.
Okay. Hearn 5, Hearn 6, Hearn 7, and Hearn 8.
Please check the number and dial again.
And takes him off of the first SD card, the one that I couldn't see, and it was so awkward getting up and down and turning the camcorder on because there wasn't any remote. And Caressy didn't call back, and nobody emailed. And did you tell us you did 30 telephone calls? Yes, 30. How many is that? 71,490 since 2003. Since the year 2003. We finished listening on CD to Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures by Mary Baker Eddy, Chapter 2, the first part, Atonement, at one with God. And that's easy. You just don't think about yourself, you don't talk about yourself. Instead, you give all of that energy to loving others as best you can, and you find out that love is God, so you find out what God is after all, and you just keep your thought pure. You think about good things, never mind about the bad things, let them go, just think about good things, and you'll find out that God is all there is, and God is one, and God is good, and you go vegan. Biffy cat is much better. She's going around the house and she's washing herself, and that is very good. And we love Biffy cat, and we loved her and loved her and loved her. And maybe our love is bringing her through. You have to see Biffy cat as she was when you knew her, when she was perfect. And you don't see Biffy cat as a sick kitty. Madeline brought me a huge burrito. It looks like a water tank or a gas tank. She bought a new knee brace that heats, H-E-A-T-S, folks. It heats up and it vibrates. We bought one, and our people here made a good job of ruining it. I'm going to send it back to the manufacturer and say, here, you can have these for parts. It was a good unit, and we ruined it, but we thought you could have it for parts. We don't want you to send us a new one. We are going to buy a new one. And I think that cost $34. Esther did think folder number 1. She showed me how to charge the speaker for the CD player is very, very clever, and it's only this big around, but it booms. Beautiful tone. And it likes to be charged on the computer. But Esther found an adapter so that it could be charged on the Philips AC power strip. Esther packed the Christmas cards. It's a huge, huge pile. I probably should show them to you. They're so pretty. She signed a couple of checks, $50 for Corinne, and she signed a check for Pat. I can't remember what that was for. And we are making progress on finalizing the papers to send for county burial, where the county will pay $1,250 to Mooney Funeral Home for the direct cremation. And here you have a body in a box. You burn it, you send the ashes to a person in the urn, and that's going to cost $1,250. There's something very wrong here. I think it's against the 13th Amendment, involuntary servitude, where you have to have the services of a funeral director. That's not right. And the least you can get out of it is for around $1,250. Maybe some funeral directors $800 for cremation. That is not right. That is an injustice. We're working on the Albany hospital bill. It was $10,000 and something plus $490 and something. And we're asking them if we really have to pay for that, because we went to the Albany Med to get a relief from the pain in the abdomen. We never got the relief in the pain in the abdomen, and we were told just to go home and take Tylenol. Well, that shouldn't cost $11,000. Did you put hydrogen peroxide in the left ear? Yes. And it went way down deeply, so I think it is doing good. And then did you rinse it out with the ear syringe? Yep. Did you cut your hair? Yep. Did you read People Who Knew Mary Baker Eddy? Yes. We finished Mr. Southchild's account. It was the longest one, and I would like to say it was the best one, but the rest of them are so good too. It was fascinating. Then we started Dr. Herring. Dr. Herring was a professor at Johns Hopkins University in electrical, not engineering, but electrical, teaching students about electricity. And his wife was healed by Christian Science, and he opposed it, but then he couldn't help himself, and he went into Christian Science, and he gave up his career as a professor to be a Christian Scientist practitioner, somebody who heals people through Christian Science. Robert Jackson is getting the program A Chat with Glendora into public access TV in Washington, D.C., DC TV, which is a formidable job, but he has a knack of succeeding. We can't hear from George Durnford. I'm concerned about him in Portland, Oregon. The commercials for the animals to lead people to go vegan, the commercials to help the animals are all set up for the week of January 4th, and they will be on Channel 6 on the 6:30 p.m. news. One commercial every night, Monday through Friday. Vegan commercials to help the animals. What happens when ducks fly upside down? They quack up. Merry Christmas, everybody. And a very meaningful Christmas, what it's all about. And happy 66th anniversary to you, Franklin Fuller Buell. Merry Christmas, Wayne Collins.
Merry Christmas, Glendora.
Thank you so much. Now I was wondering if you would give us our Bible passage for this week.
Yes, I would like to recite Romans 12:10. Be kindly affectioned one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another. Romans 12:10.
Isn't that sweet? That was a birdie saying Merry Christmas. Would you mind doing it again, please?
I'll do it again. It's Romans 12:10. Be kindly affectioned one to another with brotherly love in honor, preferring one another. Romans 12:10.
Well, you do that, Mr. Collins, and the world thanks you.
Thank you.
Take care.
You as well.
Good morning, folks. It's the day after Christmas. I think I pressed the Zoom button. Let's hope that this takes it Zoom out. I'm sorry about that. That's too much of Glenny for you to look at all at once. I could cover up a third of it, 2/3 of it with a mask. This is the day after Christmas. I want to hear about your Christmas. The day of peace and goodwill to men and women. There's concern about George Durnford. Glenny cannot reach him by telephone, by either of his telephones. And neither can Christine at Channel 6. The vegan commercials to help the animals will be on television all next week, the week of January 4th, Monday through Friday on the 6:30 p.m. news. Mommy, are you sure this food is healthy? Well, yes. Why? Well, it tastes good. Grandmother to granddaughter, do you want to see the cuckoo come out of the cuckoo clock? Yes, please. And I would like to see grandfather come out of the grandfather clock. Have you been listening to the little birdies singing every hour on the hour here in Happy House 3? What did you do yesterday, Glendora? Anything good? Yes. 30 telephone calls. Good girl. You called people who were lonesome? Many of them, yes. So that's 71,520 telephone calls since the year 2003. And did you celebrate your 66th wedding anniversary? Yes. My dear Helen Chambers, my friend who's just a few months, close to a year younger than I am, fell yesterday. And I called Gloria just as Gloria, her daughter, was taking her to the hospital. So full speed ahead on love to Gloria and to Helen. Full speed ahead on love. We can heal her, we can save her, we can help her. Just by loving her, folks. Just by loving her and thinking right. Now what you do is see Helen as you have seen her. Happy and strong, and those beautiful eyes, and smiling. See her as you've always seen her. Don't see her as sick. You have a choice what you can think of. Think of what is good, not what is bad. And love her all you can. And Glennie is happy because her friend Victoria is coming here today at 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And she's a whiz and she knows everything. And she can bring this ship back into shape. Where does a ship go when it is sick? Where does a ship go when it is sick? To the dock. The passengers were having a rocky ride on the ship, and so the skipper told him to make an announcement on the microphone that would pacify the passengers who were kind of scared. And the stewards went to the microphone and said, "No need to worry, folks. We are only 2 miles from land. Straight down." We did not hear from Gregory Hearn. We were hoping that he would do Gregory Hearn 5, 6, 7, 8 shows, half hour each, and upload them to the YouTube and clean up the video mess that Glendora made because she couldn't see. I hope this is on a long shot instead of a wide shot, instead of a close-up, honey. Glennie is the last person in the world you want a close-up of. Wayne Collins and Glendora read Professor Herring's account of his close relationship with Mary Baker Eddy and her complaint to him that people were not stepping forth from the movement, that the Christian Scientists themselves, not enough of them were stepping forward to move the movement forward, that they needed more workers. And when she wanted a worker, that meant you had to leave home and you had to come and live in the Christian Science area where the work was being done and get it done. And get it done right. I get the feeling that she was very meticulous. No question about it. You know, she had a relationship with God that you can have. The difference between Mary Baker Eddy and you and Glennie is that we don't put the time into it that she did. What time into what, Glendora? The time into thinking about God and listening to God and being disciplined and doing what God says. Now, what God says to do is fun. anything else is not fun. Doing what God tells you to do is the only fun there is. Back to my point. She had that oneness with God and that ability to heal because she spent time with God. And she didn't allow any other thought to be in her mind but good thought. And she was one with God, as we can be. We're just by one with God. We're loving as much as we can. And you know love is God, and God is love. So when you love, you're with God and things are good. And not thinking about anything bad and realizing the allness of God. You just don't think about anything but God. God is all in your life. You've got a choice. You don't have to go where things are bad and sick and sinful. You don't have to do that. You've got a choice. Just stay with God. Stay with love. If we use the word God too much, I'm sorry, I should be using the word love because you know what love is. You know everything about love. And love is God and God is love. And you're one with God and you cannot be separated from God any more than a cell in this body or your body. Any more than a cell in this body can be separated from the body. It's just unimaginable. Did you eat much yesterday? No. And did anybody come and see you yesterday? No. They were all opening Christmas presents. Did you have a good time yesterday? Yes, very good. Bob Kay called me from down in New Paltz. And his garage is filled with water. You know, we had the rain, and the rain took away 16 inches of snow, just like that. And Bob went to his GPS, and he went to 316 Union Street, Springfield, Massachusetts. And that's where I spent my high school years and my college years, 10 years, from 1941, we'll say, to, 42 maybe, to 52. Great fun. And we looked at the house, and the house is in good shape. It looks very good. It's changed in minor ways.